2. All right. All right. Well, thanks for being here. This is week 2 of the Book of Revelation. So, holla! It's an exciting book. I do want to mention 2 things. First, I know David Ward, who's usually here. You know, he's serves as our board chair this year, but he also is someone that likes to accomplish, great physical feats, and so he's doing he called it a sprint triathlon. I don't know what that is, but it sounds painful to me. I know, a sprint triathlon. So he's running one, I believe he said in Clark County. And I said, oh yeah, I've ran that many times. Well, I don't even know what in the world a triathlon. I never tried. If it was the watchathon, I'd watch that, but so that's, so prayers for David as he's doing that. But anyway, and then the other housekeeping note is next week, Ben Slusher, our new full-time children and youth minister, he's going to be preaching next week. So he'll be doing early service and second service, and I'll be with my in-laws family. They go to a beach each summer and try to get extended family. So I will be in, I believe, Sarasota. So I've never been to Sarasota. So anybody has thoughts about Sarasota, let me know. But really excited for Ben to preach, and he's ready to just jump right in. So he's jumping in the deep end already. So he's eager and excited. So we will not have Sunday school. I figured I didn't say, hey, in between preaching, would you like to teach the book of Revelation? I didn't ask. So that's like, that's not fair. Anyways. Yes. I heard several people mention that to me that really liked his voice. And I told him I was very jealous of his voice. You've got that great kind of baritone, deep voice, resonant voice. So, yeah. But he's fantastic. And then we've got the potluck to welcome him and his wife, Mara, and their 2-year-old son, Barrett. All that's happening today. So that's really exciting. So if you're hungry and you want a potluck, there's one happening today. So, all right. So, Revelation. Okay. Go ahead and, if you would, just turn to Revelation chapter 4 and put a finger there. That's not where we left off last week, but that's where I want to start this week. And just do a couple of reminder things here. We mentioned last week that Revelation, the book of Revelation, this is kind of a translation of the title of the Apocalypse of John. Apocalypse meaning not destruction, not end of the world. It means a revealing. And so the question then is, well, what is being revealed? Well, the answer in this is what's being revealed is the slain lamb who is raised victorious, right? That's the unveiling. That's the glimpse of what you're seeing revealed. And then the implications for the fact that the lamb who was slain is now victorious at the right hand of the Father. Like that is, the implications of that is that God is, God's servant is sort of reigning victorious and is supreme over all other empires or all other forces that may try to subvert God's purposes for the world. So you might say on the one hand, this apocalypse, this revealing, this unveiling, it is an unveiling of the slain lamb who is victorious, and that inspires hope. It inspires hope that God's purposes will not be thwarted, that God will have the last day. So if it would be different if Jesus were still in the tomb, right? That John of Patmos would have a very different kind of twist, you might say. But here it is because the Lamb was slain, the Messiah was slain, crucified, and then risen, and then ascended to God. It's this vindication of all that Jesus preached and did, and it inspires hope that God's plans are still very much on track. So if sometimes when I've been around the book of Revelation, it's almost been a way to kind of like look at disasters and chaos of our world. Bryce knows what I'm talking about. Bryce and I, he teaches me Revelation every day. So, but the sometimes I've seen Revelation so often used as a way of trying to decode the chaos and destructive events happening in our world, as a way of helping you see that our escape is imminent, right? But that is not what this is. This is not like a interpretive key to see your escape path, right? This is very much a book of hope for the transformation of the world. I mean, this is what this is. And how can you have this hope? Because Christ is risen. So when we're reading through Revelation and we're getting through like all kinds of symbols and vivid imagery and like very language that would have been extremely controversial and not getting him out of exile from that island anytime soon, when you're reading through all of this, know that this is, at its very core, the purpose of this unveiling of Christ is to inspire hope. It is inspiring hope. So, yes, Charles.
This might be hair off, but there's still a lot of sacrificing of the lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Certain religious denominations, if you want to call them religious groups.
Yeah.
We were traveling in the Arab country where they were going to have a ceremony of sacrificing the lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And wondered why all these lambs were up on the second floor.
Mm.
They said the next day was going to be the sacrifice. And they didn't want tourists to get in there because apparently pretty bloody.
Yeah.
So it is practice.
Yeah. It is practice.
Actual sacrifice.
Yeah.
Muslim
Yeah. Yeah.
must be something in the Quran. They have to sacrifice.
Sure. So some forms of sacrifice being a very ancient and kind of a universal cultic practice that's still carried into today in various parts and different traditions. Yeah, very much so. I don't know that I would have the stomach to go and to see something like that. It's not something I advocate for in our own worship practices. The potluck is the closest I get to that. Get some good sliced ham. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah. So I want to start in chapter 4. We're going to go back to finish out chapter 1 and do 2 and 3, because that's where we were last time. And if you remember, John is on this island of Patmos, and he's having this vision, and he's writing this. He's conveying to what he says are these 7 churches in Asia, and he names them, and so he's writing this to them. But the very, I think, grounding, you might say the center of gravity for what's going on in Revelation is really in this vision in chapters 4 and 5. When you think of like what is being unveiled, and you hear me say it's the risen Lamb, like we're going to see this vision. It is Michael J. Gorman is a scholar, a scripture scholar that wrote a really, really, really good book, a really accessible book on the book of Revelation. It's called Reading Revelation Responsibly. So if you're interested in something, if you want something a bit more scholarly, Richard Bauckham has a commentary on it that everybody universally loves. But Reading Revelation Responsibly by Michael J. Gorman, highly, highly recommend. But he makes this point that the kind of center and centering vision of the whole book is in chapters 4 and 5. So I know, like, do y'all remember magic books? Like there was like, it just looked like pixels on a page, and then you kind of took it to your nose and you kind of pulled it out, and then you could see kind of images pop. You know what I'm talking about? Graham, have you ever seen this? Do you know what I'm talking about? You have no idea. Magic Eye. Yes. What did I call it? Magic books. Yeah, magic book. Magic Eye. Thank you. Yeah. Have you ever seen this? No, you have no idea what I'm talking about. All right. I'm going to find one and bring it to you. It will blow your mind. Probably not blow your mind, but it is. I used to think it was magic as a kid, but yeah, you just look at it, it just looks like a bunch of like just pixelated blah on a page, but then you kind of like refocus your eyes, and then it like turns into a 3D image, and it's very cool. So for the book of Revelation, sometimes if you're like reading through, like this many beasts and this many heads and this many horns and this many eyes, and there's like all of this stuff going on, and the blood is up to the bridles of the horses, and you're just like, wow. Imagine this. I want you to, if you ever get that way in our journey of Revelation, through Revelation, I want you to come to chapters 4 and 5, just like you would a Magic Eye book. Kind of put it up here close, and as you gradually widen the scope of what you see in the book, I want you to see that the vivid 3D image that centers the whole thing is what we're about to see, right? Chapter 4 and 5. All right. Could somebody start reading in chapter 4 until I just jump in?
After this I looked, and there in heaven the door stood open, and the first voice, which I had heard speak to me like a trumpet, said, "Come up here, and I will show you what must take place after this." At once I was in spirit, and there in heaven stood a throne, and one seated on the throne. And the one seated there looks like jasper and carnelian, and around the throne is a rainbow that looks like an emerald. Around the throne are 24 thrones, and seated on the thrones are 24 elders, dressed in white robes with golden crowns on their heads. Coming from the throne are flashes of lightning and rumblings and peals of thunder, and in front of the throne burn 7 flaming torches, which are the 7 spirits of God. And in front of the throne there is something like a sea of glass, crystal. Around the throne and on each side of the throne are 4 living creatures, full of eyes in front and back. The first living creature like a lion, the second living creature like an ox, the third living creature like a face, with a face like a human, and the fourth living creature like a flying eagle. And the 4 living creatures, each of them with 6 wings, are full of eyes all around and inside, day and night without ceasing to sing, "Holy, holy, holy, Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come."
All right, let's pause there. All right, so there's a lot going on here, but it starts in chapter 4 with John being told to come up here. I want to show you something, what must take place after these things. And he goes up, and the first thing he sees is a throne, right? A lot of imagery, a lot of calling back to visions we see in Daniel. There's a lot going on here. With the 24 other thrones, and you've got like the 4 creatures, and I remember seeing sort of like I don't know, it used to be like on Instagram and online, people would like biblically accurate angels, and they would have like these like crazy head creatures like lion and eagles and stuff, very freaky stuff. But don't let any of that distract you from what's at the center of this vision. It's the throne. Who is seated on the throne? Just says one is seated at the throne, right? Well, and we know who this is, right? This is the throne. This is the Almighty. This is the Alpha and Omega, right? This is the one that is on the throne. So this is a glimpse into the throne room of heaven. All right. So this glimpse is peering into like what is going on that we cannot see with our human eyes, with the limitations of our experience and access, like what's going on in sort of God's living room, right, in the throne room. This is it. And what I think is really beautiful about this is that when this glimpse of the throne room is experienced by John, what he witnesses, what he experiences is not just some static, silent room, but he's seeing things and also hearing a hymn that we sing sometimes. We put music to it. But hymn number 4, if you have a hymnal in front of you, you can even turn to it. It's one of my favorite hymns. And it goes, "Holy, holy, holy, Lord God Almighty. Early in the morning our song shall rise to thee. I mean, this is, if you look at the top, a lot of these hymns, they'll tell you if there's a passage that inspires it, you'll find it right up here in the corner. And what's it say? Revelation chapter 4, verses 8 through 11. It's what John sees. These creatures, this heavenly throne room, erupting in praise. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. So I love this. So whenever we sing this song, it's one of my absolute favorites. I love this song. Especially if you've ever been to like a place where, like a sunrise service, or you've been like doing like a retreat or something, and it's early in the morning. And then, when you're singing early in the morning, our song shall rise to thee. It's just like gives me goosebumps. But I picture this scene in Revelation because the intent of the song is that we're not starting the song's going. Like God is being surrounded by these praises of holy, holy, holy. It's already happening into the throne room. It's just this hymn means that we again get to join into the chorus that's already happening, right? We get to tap into the cosmic chorus of holy, holy, holy. Now, what does holy mean? If you go all the way back to like Exodus, back to the Torah, when you have this covenant ironed out between God and God's people, part of the main question is how can a holy God live amongst an unholy or impure people? Well, the term holy, it just means set apart, right? And so the covenant is very much trying to form a people that is also set apart. They're different, they're distinct, and sort of in their communion and their life and way of existing with God. So all of the various laws about how to treat neighbor and the stranger, the poor, all of this is their set apartness, right? It's supposed to be reflecting the character of God. Well, in the throne room vision here, that term is what is just constantly reverberating around God, that you are holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. So it is that this is just different. Like there's throne rooms in Rome, there's throne rooms in all kinds of palaces around the world. This is saying this is different. Like this is completely set apart. This God is on a whole nother level. This is the Lord God, the Almighty. So there is a kind of sense of supremacy, but this kind of sense of worship by these great creatures. Don't let the details of like, what does it mean that we have 24 thrones? Don't get lost in that yet. Keep your eyes on the center, which is the Almighty on the throne, surrounded by praise. Okay. Where do we leave off? Chapter 9 or verse 9? Chapter 4, verse 9? You want to keep going? Let's see, chapter 4, verse 9, I think is where we...
And whenever the living creatures give glory and honor and thanks to the one who is seated on the throne, who lives forever and ever, 24 elders fall before the one who is seated on the throne and worship the one who lives forever and ever. They cast their crowns before the throne, singing, "You are worthy, our Lord and God, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and by your will they existed and were created."
Okay, so now we get a bit more of the content of the praise around the one seated on the throne. So when they say, holy, 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 the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come, they're not saying that this God is new, right? Like the show, The Game of Thrones, people will swear by the old gods and the new, right? This is not a new God. This is somebody who goes back. This is the most ancient of gods. It's the one that didn't sort of like fade away or get outdone by others. It's the God that's still supreme now, and it's the God who is to come, who's got a lot more up the divine sleeve. You're going to see that this God will remain. So it's a way of saying that throughout the timeline, throughout history, still in the present, and even into the future, this God spans all of history. So there is no ebbing and flowing. This is the one who always was. And you get a sense of it that gets kind of reinforced in the praise that follows, where they are casting their thrones. So these living creatures and the ones that are on these thrones around the throne, they are these 24 elders. They're worshiping and they're casting whatever crowns they have, they're casting them. So remember, that's the same kind of word like casting out a demon. Or remember in 1 John when we were talking about how perfect love casts out fear, right? It's like purge, it's a cast. It's like these 24 elders in the throne room, like you would think they're pretty impressive. They are there around the throne. They've got no interest in the crown for themselves. They don't want it. They don't want it. They want all focus and all, you might say, every sense of supremacy and worship and attention to be centered on the one who's in the throne. It's a really, really, really powerful image to me. There was, when I was coming up, like in high school and college, a really popular Christian band was Casting Crowns. Has anybody heard of Casting Crowns? Yeah. Well, it comes from this, right? The whole idea was that whatever sort of recognition, sense of authority, like you're casting it, you're purging it, you want all sort of like focus on the one seated on the throne. And that is an image that I think, if you can imagine these 24 elders in the throne room of God, which is unparalleled access to the sovereign, who was and is to come. They have no interest in sort of posturing or clutching kind of sense of authority, prizing my access, prizing my sense of awe, that you would be, it is all attention, all authority. Like they must, in the words of John the Baptist, they must decrease so that the one in the center must increase, right? It is that kind of posture. That's going to be quite the contrast with some of the rulers of empire that's going to show up in the book of Revelation. There's no interest in casting any crowns, but there's a lot of interest in making sure that you keep what you got and then get a bigger one, and then conquering over here so that you can add another crown to that head, right? It is the exact opposite, right? So not only are you going to have this sense of sort of exposing the power-hungry appetite and craving of empire that's going to show up in here, but you're also going to see that the one that gets spotlighted here, the one who emerges victorious after going toe-to-toe with all of those kind of crown-clutching, lust for power kind of powers of empire, that when going toe-to-toe with the Messiah, the one anointed by the one who is seated on the throne, the thing that proved to be victorious was not that this one had a stronger lust for power than these over here. It wasn't that the Messiah had stronger firepower, had angels could rain down fire and brimstone from heaven, and that was better than any chariot. No, the thing that proved victorious was a willingness to love to the point of self-sacrifice. And that's the thing that ultimately undid the will and the plans devised by these empires. It was a sense of purging, the Christ sort of purging. If you can remember Paul in Philippians, that incredible hymn in chapter 2 of Philippians where it talks that even though Christ was God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped or exploited, but lowered himself even to death, and death on a cross. Like it's that kind of sense. That sort of like trajectory of like Christ, the Messiah, the anointed one was here, humbled himself even to death on a cross here. That kind of humility and willingness to be humbled and not searching for crown, not searching for conquering, not doing all of that. That ultimately was what undid the powers that had the exact opposite calculus. So, anyways, so when you're thinking about Messiah and you're thinking about these 24 elders casting crowns, that should make you like feel like, whew, what a difference to some of the beasts of empire that are going to emerge. Completely different calculus, completely different strategies of how they think they will ultimately win for control as masters of the universe, and also even completely different goals for what that world will look like. So, anyway, so notice the humility here. All right. Any comments or questions about that part, that vision in chapter 4? Of the elders? I mean, these are just very significant figures, right? So if you have like elders, remember when we were in Numbers on Pentecost and like the elders of the various tribes gathering together? So these are kind of like representative leaders of, some will say these are representative leaders of Israel. Some will say they're representative leaders of like humanity. But it's like these elders are kind of like, they're people of authority and representative of who is under their charge for God. But there's a lot more theory and specificity. But I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I have one theory that I feel super compelled by. But these are, if you can imagine like Moses, there at the tabernacle, and the closest, Moses is there in very close proximity to God, and then the elders are invited to come out from the camps and get with Moses, and then there's such close proximity of God as the story in Numbers goes that the Spirit falls on them, right? So those elders in close proximity to God, I think it's kind of the analog here. Yeah. Yes. What is it? Yeah, I mean, go ahead, say again. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of significance to a lot of the various numbers here. I mean, the ones that I feel most confident about are, the numbers 4 and 7. So, like, you'll see that a ton. 7 days of creation. Yeah. Could it be, 2 elders for every tribe of Israel? Could it be something else? I'm sure there are really compelling interpretations of what it is. I don't know, to be honest. Like, I'll have a little bit of, y'all may find one if you Google it. You may even have a footnote that has a really compelling answer. Maybe it has something to do with the 12 tribes of Israel and somehow being representative. But you will constantly see the number 7 and the numbers 4. So you've got 7, sort of this number of completeness, and the 7 days of creation. It is sort of a comprehensive number, right? It's meant to say like this encompasses all. And the 4 is kind of like almost like a universality. The winds from the north, the south, the east, and the west. It's universal in scope. It is worldwide. So I think that's you see those numbers a lot. But it's a really good question. Yeah. Yeah.
At least 2 views have come up about, but it reminds me a lot of God was the Israelites. So I can see how somebody can take it just that narrow perspective. But I think you're correct. I think it's broader and intended for humanity. And you need to read that in that very specific way.
Yes. Yeah, I think one of the things you're going to see here is that there are hundreds and hundreds, if not over 1,000 allusions to the Hebrew Scriptures. Like, it's just packed with it. But it's not meant to be confined to one people group. Like, it is quite clear that this is the throne room that is seated above all creation, right? This is total. This is universal. This is relevant to everybody, right? So while there's going to be allusions to the Hebrew Scriptures a lot over and over, you may not see like a direct quotation, but the allusions to it are going to be throughout. You are going to see that, I think in many ways, it's what we've seen in the Hebrew Scriptures themselves, and then also in the New Testament. You're trying to keep continuity with the story Abraham and Sarah and the generations that come and the covenant and what it's meant for the world and how the specific people groups involved. But again, the scope is for the world, like, keeping continuity with that story, but also kind of like evolving with it. You're going to see this very much in Revelation as well. It's trying to keep continuity with the story, but there's something new that's being unveiled here, that's being brought. So, all right. Would somebody just jump into chapter 5, verse 1? Sure.
Then I saw in the right hand of the one seated on the throne a scroll written on the inside and on the back, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a mighty angel proclaiming with a loud voice, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals?"
All right, can we just stop right there? So, what's a scroll? Just to picture it. I know I'm a visual learner, right? Not a scroll, right? This is a codex, right? Scroll is scroll. And what's a seal, right? It's either a wax seal or a band around it, right? And it's got 7 of them, right? Which means what? If it's got 7 of them, not just one in the middle, like a diploma, I mean, this thing's shut. It's meant to stay shut, right? It's sealed significant. And how many seals was on it? 7. Oh, okay. So this is meant to be completely sealed, right? It's like that number 7, right? That's significant. Okay. So just imagine, and this thing shows up in the vision in this throne room of God. 7 seals, the scroll, it is shut with 7 seals, so it is meant to be completely shut. All right, keep going.
No one in heaven or on earth or under the earth was able to open the scroll or to look into it. And I began to weep bitterly because no one was found worthy to open the scroll or to look into it.
Can just stop there right there. This is just Patrick talking. That's the most relatable moment in all of Revelation to me. To me, it's just like, I see, like, if I'm getting to see this incredible scene, the throne room, like the curtain has been peeled back and I get to see what's going around the throne of God and see this worship and see like all of this. And in the middle is presented this scroll and it's got 7 seals on it. And I'm just desperate to know what's in there. But nobody in the earth, throughout the earth, or under the earth, or above the earth, nobody can open it. And I'm just like, what? Like just the curiosity, like what in the world is in this? It must be of such intense, important significance. It's got to be on a cosmic scale. I mean, like what in the world is in it? But the great problem in this drama of the vision is like, there's not any creature in all of creation, high or low, that can open these seals. And he just weeps. John just weeps. Like this is a mystery in this great unveiling, right? The apocalypse, the unveiling where he gets to see the hidden. It looks like actually the curtain's going to stay. It's going to stay over this scroll, and he's just undone by it. It's like, no, like I'm supposed to see it all, but the curtain's still on this. Like, no. All right, let's keep going.
Then one of the elders said to me, "Do not weep. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has conquered, so that he can open the scroll and its 7 seals."
Okay, let's pause right there. So who shows up and says to weeping John, who's like devastated that there's still going to be something that is hidden? One of the elders says, "Don't weep. You're going to see this. This is going to be unveiled too. There is somebody who can open this. And who is that somebody? It's the Lion of the tribe of Judah," right? When you think of lion, what do you think of? As the top of the food chain, right? Like the movie's Lion King, right? They didn't make Weasel King, right? It was Lion King, for goodness sake. Like at the end of the movie, when Simba gets up there after defeating Scar and the rain and thunder, what does he do? He roars. This is ultimate power. Roar, victory. This is the image. It is a powerful lion who is what? Conquered. This is the ultimate power symbolized by this lion of who? The tribe of Judah, the root of David. This is the ancestor of King David, right? Who is come with the might and power of a lion who has devoured its conquered. Do you remember the symbol of Assyria? Remember when Assyria devoured the northern kingdom of Israel? Like, what was their symbol? the prowling lion of Assyria. They were brutal, unbelievable power, and they devoured. That was their calling card, right? Here we see the lion, not of Assyria. This is the lion of the tribe of Judah. So if Assyria, they've got their prowling lion, it's going to look like, meow, kitty cat to like the lion of the tribe of Judah. That's David's lion, right? That's, woof. This is the conquering lion that's like far, it's like just looms over every other prowling lion in history that you can think of, right? This is the one that seems to have enough power and has achieved the most comprehensive victory to finally break open the seals that nobody else could see, right? So this is what John of Patmos is ready to see. Who is this conquering lion that makes all other lions of history's empires look like a little kitty cat, right? Who can do this? All right, and we're about to see. Go ahead, verse 6.
And I saw between the throne and the four living creatures, and among the elders a lamb standing as if it had been slaughtered.
Time out. What? Like, what is that? No. Like, the thing that was the one who could do what no creature on heaven or earth or below the earth in breaking open the seals, like nobody could do it except the conquering lion of the root of David. Like, that's the one that was powerful enough to do it, right? That's what the elder told me. And then I can see between the elders and between the four living creatures, here comes the one powerful enough to open. Here comes that prowling lion, roar. And it's the image of a lamb standing slaughtered. That is, when you're talking about those cultic practices you saw, like, if you can imagine seeing a lamb that's been slaughtered as a sacrifice, that is not the image of power, victory. Hear Simba roar at the end of the Battle of Scar, right? That is not it. Go ahead.
Well, those coins that you've got, I'm not sure what gave you actually show a lion, but many of the coins during that period of time, and even before, we're going back to the time of Alexander the Great. There's a picture of him with a lion's head. Hope.
Mm-hmm.
So that picture of power with the lion has been there for generations.
Yes.
And of course, you think about it today, there really are no lions in that area.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
So you're talking about, like, on this coin, the depiction of Alexander the Great, this conqueror that's the reason, conquered territory so far and wide, that's the reason why the New Testament's written in Greek, right? It's because of Alexander the Great, right? And what was left. That level of power and the breadth of empire through conquering such a vast space like that was symbolized by Alexander the Great with the head of a lion on this coin, right? So that's what you would expect to see, right? That's who you would expect to emerge, but it is this lamb who is slaughtered. It's not just a lamb. I mean, it'd be enough if you're expecting that kind of like conqueror with a lion's head coming through, like, let me at those seals, right? Let me break those seals of the scroll. But it'd be enough if, like, you saw just a lamb that's like, meh. But it is a slaughtered lamb at that. It is, you could not be set up for an absolute decimation of your expectations than what John was set up for in this vision. It is a radical, like, huh? It is meant to like hit hard with confusion. So, okay, let's keep going.
Okay, so the lamb, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent out into all the earth. He went and took the scroll from the right hand of the one who was seated on the throne. When he had taken the scroll, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell before the Lamb, each holding a harp and golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints.
Okay, let's pause right there. This is a pretty dramatic passage here, because who's the one that's been receiving worship in this vision so far in chapter 4? Right? It's God. It is the one who is seated on the throne, right? Now now we have another figure entering who is the very center of these same creatures and elders' praise. There is worship being given to this slaughtered lamb. That's a big deal. We'll get more into the implications, but the fact that if you are a people that's been formed with sort of a very like the very soul of like what you are commanded from Sinai is, you shall have no other gods before me, right? Like this is a massive scene that the church had to sort of wrestle with for a while, is that you have stepping into the throne room, into the space where the one is seated on the throne receiving worship. Here is another who's a slaughtered lamb and is receiving praise and worship from the elders. I mean, that is a dramatic scene. And it's the one that's worthy to open the scrolls. So the worship is now being devoted to also not just the one on the throne, but the slaughtered lamb, and receiving the prayers of the saints. So let's keep going. Verse 9, let's hear the song that's being sung to this lamb.
They sing a new song. You are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seals. For you were slaughtered, and by your blood you ransomed for God saints from every tribe and language and people and nation. You have made them to be a kingdom and priests serving our God, and they will reign on earth.
All right, so pause there. This is Sinai language, right? Remember back in Exodus, when the people are gathered around, they've been delivered from Egypt, and they're gathered around, and this is the moment where God's like, you see what I can do for you, right? Like you see that Pharaoh's no match for me. You want to make this permanent? Like you don't just want to go steady. You want to get married? Like that's kind of the thing at Sinai, right? And the people's like, yes. Like we're all in on you. And then, so one of the things that is said there is that, okay, here is the covenant I'm going to make with you. I'm going to make you into a nation of priests, right? You are going to be the intermediaries of my presence in this world, in my creation. Well, that same thing is being said it's being sung to the Lamb here in this vision, that you have made people of not just one nation, but every nation, every tribe, every language, all peoples. You have, verse 10, you have made them to be a kingdom and priests serving our God. This is like we're witnessing someone sort of using Sinai language to say, like, this is the culmination of what happened at Sinai, right? This is the full completion. This was the starting point. This is what it was intended to grow into. Not just one special group, but like a complete universality of priests. Everybody is serving in the presence of God, right? And it encompasses every people, nation, and language. In this language, is a kingdom, right? When we're praying, God, let your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Like this is what the elders are singing to the Lamb. Like your kingdom is made up of everybody. And we are the culmination of what started at Sinai. We are all your priests serving you. And we will all be a part of your reign on earth. You are the sovereign, all right? So, what does that mean for the current sovereigns and those in power at the time, right? Well, that means like you got a throne and a crown, like you're all. Like, why is John in exile? You get a clue, right? This message had a pretty double-edged sword to it. Okay, so let's keep going. Where did we leave off? 11. Let's keep going.
Then I looked and I heard the voice of many angels surrounding the throne and the living creatures and the elders. They numbered myriads and thousands of thousands, singing with full voice, "Worthy is the Lamb that was slaughtered to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing." Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea
So here we see the worship initially in this vision of the one on the throne, and you see those 24 elders casting their crowns to be at the feet of the one who's the only one they want with a crown on their head, right? And then that worship scene broadens when the Lamb arrives on the scene, right? Now we see creatures above the earth and below the earth, all creatures in heaven and on earth, they are all singing. It is a complete and universal cosmic chorus worshiping this Lamb, saying, "You're worthy as the Lamb that was slaughtered." Slaughtered. Slaughtered. Like that is, again, this calculus just, it is so flipped on its head than sort of the Alexander the Great, like conquering power. This is a victory over all of the world, gaining dominion for God's purposes. This is victory via being slaughtered. It is, in Paul's language in 1 Corinthians, it is foolishness to the wise, but to those who are truly wise, it's the wisdom of God, right? That's what this is. So it is a cosmic recognition that this love that was communicated in sacrifice through the slaughtered lamb is what ultimately what broke the power of all the world's rulers and seated Christ up on high. So in that hymn of Philippians, right, it starts up here. Christ had, even though had equality with God, but didn't consider equality something to be exploited or grasped, but humbled himself. Well, at the end of that hymn, right, he is exalted above, so that everyone in every nation, language, and tribe will bend in worship, right? So that's what you're seeing right here. It is the full, completion of that, what do you call that? Graham, is that a parabola? Is that what this is? Like that U shape on a graph? I think it's parabola. Parabola, I don't know.
This actually, with this chapter 5,
Uh-huh.
bringing that completeness, it's telling the story of the completeness of all that started way back.
Time is fuzzy here, right? But it is giving you a sense of the cosmic, universal praise of the one who's finally being seen for what he is, right? It's the one whose mind-bending strategy of self-sacrificial love to achieve God's purposes. Like, I'm going to win by getting crucified, right? Like that logic, that calculus. Now it is finally seen in the full breadth and context of what God's been doing all along, right? So in that sense, that is what that light bulb moment for all of creation finally brings everyone to their knees, and they're like, worthy is the Lamb, right? It is the light bulb moment of everything and everybody. And that's what's being given us a glimpse. So if you were to ask John at this moment, so are you seeing like the end of all things, the culmination of everything when all of God's purposes are achieved? He would say yes. And then you could ask John, okay, so are you also seeing sort of like what is to come? He'd say yes. Like, it's just like there's a lot going on here. But I think that's it. So let's just pause there. Next time when we get together, I want to see two focal images. So if this is the magic eye point of focus, right? If you're getting lost in sort of the book of Revelation and you need to know what can I focus on so that the real image pops in 3D, go back to chapters 4 and 5, put your nose to it, and gradually widen out till you see all of chapters 4 and 5, and you will see this slaughtered lamb, the object of all creation's worship. And it is the Lion of the tribe of Judah, who, when you look close enough, is a slaughtered lamb, right? It is power manifested in sacrifice. It is like paradox. It just make your mind explode. But that is what is being worshipped here. And then, so where I want to pick up next time is we're going to go over to chapter 21 to see sort of that's the next focal point. Where's all of this headed? Like, what was the lamb sacrificed for? What is the lamb trying to achieve? What's God's purposes that's seated on the throne that has all the crowns being thrown at it? Where is all of this going? Well, it's going towards what John sees in chapter 21. It is not sort of like an exodus where the earth is like Egypt and everybody is following God and that slaughtered lamb out to get to the promised land. It is the promised land crashing into Egypt, right? It is the heaven that descends to earth, right? That's the ultimate goal. That's where all this is headed. So we'll get to that focal image next time, which isn't next week, right? Not the 14th, but the 21st is when we'll come back.
What was the gentleman's name that wrote the book?
Michael J. Gorman, Reading Revelation Responsibly. Yeah. Can't recommend it enough. Eugene Peterson also, if you like the message, Eugene Peterson wrote a book on Revelation as well. I highly recommend. But yeah. Okay, thank you all very much.